Secrets of the Pink Kush, The Illuminati and Lucifer, written by William H. Bradshaw. This information is derived from my book, Secrets of the Pink Kush. Some knowledge revealed here may not be in the book exactly as detailed here, as this is more speculative, but the main premise is derived from the book. Please note that I am not an occultist or religious, but a scientist, and my objective is to remain unbiased and only present the facts that I discovered during my lengthy research project. Some of what is contained here is speculation in an attempt to explain some of these ancient mysteries. First, I must warn you that the following information may be difficult for many to accept due to the brainwashing or deceit that has been employed by religion and the media over hundreds, if not thousands of years. I have spent 7 years researching these topics, of which I took 2 years to write in my book, Secrets of the Pink Kush. I merely started out attempting to discover why the Pink Kush plant was so superior to other cannabis plants. I discovered the big secret. She was a tetraploid. Polyploids are applicable to all plants, insects, mammals, animals, and even humans. This is where it gets fascinating, and from whence forth a massive conspiracy was formed by tetraploid humans thousands of years ago in order to maintain control over all humans. This is the real story that is based upon history, science, and the occult, which is hidden knowledge. Most of this information is fact, but some is speculation and or an interpretation of facts that I discovered through ancient documents and or science and nature. The Illuminati. Many people believed that the Illuminati were formed on May the 1st, 1776 by Adam Weishaupt. This may be true, but this was only an awakening of an ancient order that has been dormant and awake at several times over thousands of years. Adam Weishaupt merely spun off another order of this ancient order of Lucifer, derived actually from the ancient cult of Demeter. It should be well noted that Leonardo da Vinci, who was born on April 15, 1452, and died on May 2nd, 1519, was actually the leader of the same cult, but well over 250 years prior to their assumed initial existence. How does this make sense unless Adam Weishaupt was not the first to represent the order? You can see a V of separation within two groups in the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, which actually represents Venus, or Lucifer, from this ancient cult of Demeter. The cult of Demeter is over 10,000 years old and was devised by highly intelligent tetraploid humans. History of Poseidon, Demeter, and their land of Atlantis. The cult of Demeter was formed by Demeter, the wife of Poseidon, who was the ruler of Atlantis. Atlantis was a continent between Africa and the Americas, which suffered a devastating earthquake. There was a shift in the tectonic plates, I suspect, such that Atlantis moved to its current position in Antarctica. Many believed, quite falsely, that Atlantis had sunk beneath the ocean, when in fact the continent had actually moved and had been sucked down towards the south polar hole where it now resides. The hollow earth. There are holes in all planets at the top and bottom where the magnetic fields originate. This can be verified by looking at any planet in our solar system, including Earth, but only if you find a picture or video of Earth that has not been modified by our government. I'm talking about NASA. There is a hole at the North Pole as well as the South Pole, and the hollow Earth resides within. There are other entrances or portals, the Grand Canyon, Malta, etc., to the hollow Earth, where our molten core acts as an energy source, and where descendants of the Atlanteans now reside. This event happened around 11,000 years ago. Some of the Atlanteans escaped to Patagonia in South America. Some escaped to Europe and Asia, while the remainder escaped into the hollow Earth, where they found a warm, constant temperature with oceans and lands much like that on the surface. There they built another highly advanced civilization which had flying craft that we now call UFOs, believing their occupants to be aliens, when in fact they are tetraploid humans. Tetraploid humans. Tetraploid humans are merely humans with doubled chromosomes. A mitotic poison applied during meiosis created these giants about 12,000 years ago, when women employed the use of the autumn crocus plant for labor pains. This resulted in chromosomes from both parents and formed tetraploid babies, which eventually grew into giants. This process can be replicated in a laboratory for those who doubt these facts. These people grow much slower and eventually into giants of about 10 to 14 feet tall. Their lifespan is much longer than normal diploid humans due to their larger cell size and the time required to mature into adulthood. Their cranial capacity is much larger as well in relation to diploid humans. Diploid humans have a cranial capacity of about 1,300 cc's to 1,400 cc's, while tetraploid humans have a cranial capacity of about 2,300 cc's, almost double. This makes for a brain size of about double a normal human and thus accounts for their immense and amazing intelligence. They do not want their existence known, but they do want to control all humans on the planet as they fear our overwhelming numbers. They breed at a much slower rate. They have been mistakenly called gods, goddesses, aliens, angels, or demons throughout their entire existence. Adam and Eve, genetically modified humans? These giants decided that they had to do something about the normal humans now that they were living amongst them. They were very concerned that the normal humans would overwhelm them and kill them, as there had been many battles between these two divergent classes of humans. The giants were much smarter, larger, and more powerful, but they were few and we were many. They, in their wisdom, decided that they needed to implement a matriarchal system and civilization amongst us humans in order to achieve peace and provide a class of slaves to serve them the gods and goddesses. It was thought that a matriarchal society was more peaceful than a usually more violent patriarchal systems found in nature. There were, however, problems with the genetics of diploid humans. They were not predisposed to bowing to a matriarch like bonobos or baboons. Many were like chimpanzees, which were patriarchal in nature and thus more violent. This required a breeding experiment which would employ some gene insertion and gene stacking to create a genetically modified human that would be acceptable to the tetraploids. They discovered through trial and error that the favored genetics were only carried by the female and not the male. This genetic makeup became the holy grail, or royal bloodline that they had to ensure was pervasive throughout history until the gene set came to replace all other genetically differing humans. Evidence of their existence. Archaeologists still cannot explain why the megalithic structures were built and by whom. This includes Stonehenge, the pyramids, Pumapunka, Göbekli Tepe, and many others that actually encircle the entire globe. Until they recognize the existence of tetraploid humans, they shall remain ignorant. Even with all our construction techniques and materials, we cannot replicate most of these ancient structures to this day. The Trinity. God, Satan, and Lucifer are the Holy Trinity or Triad, also known as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, with the Holy Spirit being female. This is also known, this Trinity is supposed to be replicated amongst us humans in order to maintain control of society. God is the judge, Satan is being the prosecutor, and Lucifer being the compassionate advocate. This achieves the balance known as entropy, and if any gets out of balance, then the other will provide an adversarial position to maintain this entropy. Internal strife. The problem is that God, Satan, and Lucifer had internal strife, and this caused a split amongst them. Lucifer wanted all of mankind to worship her, while Satan wanted the same, a following, and God wanted nothing to do with any humans in a direct manner, as he was already the king of heaven and of all the tetraploid humans. Lucifer was the queen of heaven, while Satan was the lowest on the totem pole of these tetraploid humans in terms of leadership, and he was jealous of the others. One must realize that these are the job titles or offices of their bureaucracy, and thus there have been many gods, Satans, and Lucifers over the ages. The original Satan appears to have been Hades, which actually predates the later Satan called Semjaza, who was a Satan in the Garden of Eden and around at the time of the breeding project for Adam and Eve. Demeter, also known as Ceres in the Roman history, was the original Lucifer and was extremely powerful in that she created much of the technology and knowledge for agriculture amongst the humans. The history of the various gods is much harder to find because he always kept a distance between himself and the humans other than being with Adam and Eve initially. Anu and Enlil were two known gods or fathers of heaven. The ancient conspiracy. Demeter created a plan such that women would run the world but would require the guidance and leadership of men to act as fronts, such that everybody would believe that men were in control, when in fact it was women. She created a system of handicapping men such that women would be more equal in order to match the superior strength and intelligence of men. This ran against nature and against the will of Satan, who wanted to create a patriarchy that would follow him. Moloch was one such Satan and had many followers who would sacrifice their firstborn in order to keep the population in check and in balance with nature. If one did not walk the right-hand path, then they would face the wrath of Satan, whereas one could walk the left-hand path of Lucifer and employ deceit as long as they worshipped her. There appeared to be no option for following the God of heaven, as he had lost control of the firmament on earth. Satan was now too powerful and became the lord of the underworld, which is found in the hollow earth. God remained on the volcanic mountains, where even to this day they can be found in places like Mount Shasta and the Solomon Islands. The Illuminati and the conspiracy. The Illuminati and the Freemasons follow Lucifer and wish to implement her system of a matriarchy so that they can control all humans through slavery and deceit. Their tactics include starting wars, financing the wars, sending men to their death for a cull, lending money and obtaining and selling the resources of all lands, especially oil. Slavery is the end game and is being achieved mainly through debt. This approach provides a system of permissive slavery which avoids revolutions against the puppet masters known as the Illuminati. If the people knew the truth, they would revolt against them, as has happened in the past. The Judeans are the ones that were chosen to run the world by Lucifer and have been in constant communication with these tetraploid humans over the millennium, who have provided strategy and tactics on how to implement and maintain the Luciferian system. Yes, the Illuminati worship a scary monster known as a giant tetraploid human. The only true matriarchy of the tetraploids were the Amazons. The Amazon women were female tetraploid humans who hated men, such that they only mated with a specific group of male tetraploid humans once a year. All baby boys were killed either directly or by exposure to the elements. The Amazon women would attack cities where men and women of normal men and women, which were diploids, that lived, and they carried out many successful raids against them, as they were much stronger and smarter than us diploid humans. This shows their misanthropic and highly misandrous nature. Lucifer is no different than the Amazon women in this respect, so beware of the Luciferians, the Illuminati, and the Freemasons. Secrets of the Pink Kush. Read Secrets of the Pink Kush for more knowledge of the occult and many other topics that are related by a certain lily plant that can potentially cure cancer or kill animals or people or create polyploids such as the tetraploid humans or create superior plants like the cannabis plant Pink Kush, which is also a tetraploid. The book also describes how to breed and grow superior plants and cannabis in particular. There is knowledge in this book that is not found anywhere else in the world amongst the tetraploid humans, and they are keeping it a secret. Thank you for your interest in this topic.